Hi, I just want to touch base with you and talk to you a little bit about what's going to be going on tonight and the next few days, as well as giving you a little bit of insight into what I'm looking to do next week when we meet together in person for the first time in a while now. I've already posted online a discussion board thread that a few of you have already contributed to, and the contributions so far have gotten us off to a really good start, so I appreciate that. What I'm looking for tonight is a response to really two questions. The first one has to do with what kinds of effort administrators should make with their staff to understand the stress that they're dealing with outside of the work life that they're bringing to their current work experience. So this relates back to the article on life changes and stress, and I want you to think not just about what kinds of issues are important to understand, but also to what extent school leaders should reach out and develop relationships that give them access to that kinds of information. In short, how well and how do you get to know your staff, while at the same time maintaining appropriate boundaries? So that'll be the topic of the first topic of conversation. The second one revisits that stress scale that you read about and asks you to think about the types of items that might be on a teacher stress or a school staff stress scale if you were to create one of those. And I'm not just asking you to think about the items, but also to go a little bit deeper and also think about where it would fit on that scale, to score it essentially. And to do that, you'll look at the scale that you learned about in the book for life events, and you'll find items that you think are comparable, and that'll tell you where it might fit. Now that's the first part of the activity. The second part is for you to, after all those have been entered tonight, to go back and to look at what your classmates have written and to think about, okay, with regard to the first question, what kind of consensus can we reach as a group about what the appropriate relationship is and what we should do with that information when we have it about stress that our staff is bringing to the building. And then secondly, to reach some kind of consensus of what items would go onto a teacher stress scale and what is the appropriate scale number to give them. Now, to do both of those things, but particularly the second, it'll require some leadership to emerge online from you. So at some point, after you see things that people have written and you've made comments about what you agree with and what you think should be changed, somebody's going to have to come in and say, okay, well, I think we've gotten to a point where we're saying this. And then reflect that back to the group for the group to be able to respond and say, yeah, I agree. I think that is where the group is headed. I think that is what we as a group are saying. It's the same kind of leadership that emerges naturally when I ask you to sit around a table and have a working session in class trying to come up with a solution to a problem. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do online. It's the first time I've asked you to really work online together in quite that way. So I'm excited to see how you handle that and what you come up with. Now, we're going to be talking about technology in class when we get together next week. And so in that, we're going to have some reading to do, and we're going to talk about the reading, but we're also going to, I'm going to ask you rather to bring to class examples from your own experience about how you engage technology as a learner and how you use technology as a teacher. And I know from experience talking to many of you that there's some really interesting and innovative examples of that are currently going on in your classrooms. So I'm looking forward to you bringing that to the class, and we'll also carve out a little bit of time to talk about the next step in your learning theory evaluation. So how you're developing your evaluation tool out of your learning theory so that you can go into the context that you described and evaluate whether the learning that's going on there is being optimized. And if not, why not? And is the answer to that why not question something that we can live with, something that we can explain away, or something that's understandable given the resources that are available? Or if not, what is it that we can change relatively quickly, the low-hanging fruit that we can take advantage of to optimize that learning experience? Looking forward to seeing you next week, and of course looking forward to seeing some of your ideas online over the next few days.